Hi, this is Ron from my backyard, and we're going to be trimming up a dry-aged pork loin. This is our first experiment with those. You notice the strings we've trussed it up just to kind of keep it in a rounder shape a little bit here. So let's get started. Doesn't feel like it dries out and gets near as tough as what the beef had.
He's getting serious. He put on the reading glasses.
Yeah, well, every once in a while I use my fingers for something other than picking my nose before I handle meat.
Yes, it's day 2 at the cabin and we've had a few cocktails. Ron's beautiful Stavis Bay beachfront cabin. We threw the women outside, locked the doors. It's a calm evening. It's been a, oh look, we have some new merch. We have some My Backyard. Thanks to Tony Delicio for the artwork. We have a logo now. We're trying to be a little more professional, and if you could,
Which doesn't take much for us to be more professional.
right, because 0 plus anything is an improvement. If you'd like to see any other meat related or other cooking demonstrations, please comment below, and don't forget to subscribe.
Hats and t-shirts soon will be available.
Soon.
Soon.
And we should say that this is the second one of these that we've done today, because we had 2 of them.
The first one was fantastic.
Yes. How do they say in New Hampshire, Randy? It was the
Balls.
balls.
Oh.
You gotta say it like that.
Yeah, you gotta have that panache.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brent, did I ever tell you how Ted Kennedy taught his kids to swim? He
Let's
gave
see.
good instruction. First, open the car door. Yeah.
Good.
These are a lot easier to trim than the beef. Great, because they're long enough that I don't have to worry about sawing off all of my fingers.
We were talking about the pork doesn't seem to desiccate that outer layer as hard as
right. It just seems it's much easier to trim. Seems much softer. I've got some stuff in here that's a little drier, but it's just overall.
And we had a tag tied to the truss strings with the original weight, but it somehow got lost in the drying process. This was 43 days refrigerated. So this is a 43-day dry for pork loin. And because of how kind of you have the relatively small diameter of the loin, I think you have a little larger percentage of loss, because you have essentially the same depth of desiccation that you have to trim off as a beef ribeye. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, the other thing about the pork here is it's got the nicer fat cap on it, and that protects the.
Yes, that saves them.
Saves the meat underneath of it. I mean, this doesn't need trimmed. I could trim it to get rid of fat, but it's perfect. Thinking of all sorts of bad things I could carve out of this.
So having a sharp knife.
This is PG, right?
Yeah, sharp knife is.
Sharp knife is key in these dry agings, because you're going to have to shave the outer layer, and the closer, the more accurate you can get, the more bang for your buck you're going to have in the form of edible meat.
Right.
And we talk a lot about knives in another video, which we'll put right here. Here in your upper right corner of your screen. Yes, Randy, that's right. Oh. Randy's doing his staying alive dance routine right now. If you can visualize.
Don't visualize. It's just not right. Ron's like, I ain't even commenting.
No, I'm not, it would have been,
Now, Ron, you said you had all the materials, or almost all the materials, to build your own smokehouse slash dry ager slash.
correct, it's going to be a combination smokehouse, dry ager, and sausage fermenting case. So we'll be showing you how that goes together here, a piece at a time. Probably take me another couple weeks, 3 weeks to get it built, but and then since I've never attempted building one like this before, then we'll have to see if it works before
Yes,
we report
yes.
back.
Yes, we won't post the how to build it video until we know it works. But I know the upfront cost, especially in dry aging and the sausage, what'd you call that?
For sausage fermenting.
Fermenter, are a little higher. Like, you can get a cheap smoker. You can use a little chief for what, I don't know, 30, 40 bucks.
Right.
You could make bacon in a little chief if you wanted to. So smokers are relatively cheap, but when you start getting into humidity control, and the fermenting requires these really strict and higher temperature setups, like for a period of weeks, could be 65 to 70 degrees with a certain humidity. But we found that humidity controllers aren't that expensive.
No, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah, they're 40, 50 bucks, but that's the same as a temperature controller.
Right.
It just means that you got to put a heat and a cool and a humidity and a fan as part of the math, which are also relatively expensive. So it seems like it's a lot, but when you put it together,
we saw one that sold online that'll be about the same size as the one I'm going to put together. This was selling for, I think, $5,000.
I saw that.
And I'm thinking the case I'm buying, which is just an old commercial display refrigerator, I'm getting for 500 bucks. And I'm thinking by the time I'm done, I'll be in it under $1,000. So.
And it seems like a lot, but once, tell you what, you have a Thanksgiving at your place and you bust out a dry aged pork loin or rib roast, or you do like your own homemade sausage, smoking jerky, smoking fish.
Now you're talking. Now you're in business.
Yes.
Everybody should have at least one or two.
Yes.
All you need is one of those trucks. Slap my backyard on it.
You should be allowed as many smokehouses and aging cases as your women are shoes.
There you go. I like that. Hey, Ron, what's the story with the axe and the butcher knife?
Well, we've been requested by, I want to say Eric wanted to, he was concerned that I might be an axe murderer, and so that's for Eric.
Okay, Eric, I hope you're watching. So what Ron had said was, when you're cutting up a pork shoulder, or they call it pork butt, for making bacon, sometimes it looks like a surgeon did it, but sometimes it looks like an axe murderer did it, and it's just big chunks and hanging around, and so you truss those up for making bacon. So Eric, we love you.
That axe is for you.
Yes, now we've incorporated it full time.
I think we're about done here.
We'll try to sneak it in.
I'm just kind of.
So you got all the desiccation off, a little bit of fat left, and there's
close.
nothing wrong with some pork fat.
No.
You obviously you don't want connective tissue, but the fat's good to lubricate the meat while it's cooking.
Yeah, add flavor, and no, I just I'm really liking the way that
How does it
thing is
feel?
looking. It feels firm, but I mean it feels tender to touch. It just right now I'm just kind of feeling it to see if I feel any dry
push
spots.
in on it again so people can see that. That's what the dry aging is doing.
So yeah, it lets the natural enzymes and bacteria in the meat neutralize it some. So okay, I think that's all trimmed out. How do we want it cut?
I prefer to just stake it like a deer backstrap or something. What were you gonna say, Randy?
I was just gonna Ron, when you're trimming like that, what are you trimming off?
Right
trimming-
now, I'm just trimming off the dry stuff, and as I'm going along now, I mean, obviously I got the visible stuff off, but every once in a while I feel a little, you know, maybe another little piece that should come off, so. But I think that looks, so let's do this one, and maybe a couple of these thin ones, and we'll just do a butterfly on them.
And we're gonna have a little taste test in a bit.
You know, I could just straight stake them, but butterflying them like this out of some of these real small cuts is a
Those look good.
better way to go. You know, get you a nicer looking piece of meat. So you can,
And pork
just
pork
slice some of
tenderloin
these.
is so inexpensive compared to rib roasts.
Yeah, this is probably, I mean, I buy them from always under $2 a pound. I never paid more than $2 a pound for them, and sometimes you get them for $1.75. We did a little video on trimming your own bulk cuts to save some money, and the pork loin was one of the ones I featured in there. This is just basically your boneless pork chop right there. Not basically, that's what it is.
And with it aged like this, what are we talking if you had to buy something like that?
I've never seen dry aged pork before in a store. It would, you know, generally quadruple what you'd pay in the store for it. So,
So all you need is a handy, you want a mostly stainless and glass refrigerator, like a display fridge, beverage fridge, commercial stuff.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we're gonna build that and show you it's really not as
and we can
expensive as
do
we're
another
worried.
one on the dry ager. Well, I used to have it, now you have it. Alrighty, there you go. Looks pretty good, and we'll report back with a taste test.
Yum.
Unless you want me to cut one in half.
No.
No, you don't want to do
Huh?
No.
Okay.
No, that's
No.
good.
Don't, Ron.
Sorry, Eric.
No, Ron, don't.